You know what, my babe? Today's video is about cleaning this stuff. Copper tube, get the best price for it. This isn't a find. This is all the copper that came from my new boiler being fitted yesterday. Obviously there's some brand new bits, and obviously the old stuff has been cut out. So I thought, you know, every so often you stumble on some copper like this, and this is the perfect opportunity to talk about how to get it ready to go to the scrapyard. On YouTube, a lot of people talk about number one, number two copper. The yard I go to, EMR in Portsmouth, they've never worked like that you get paid the same price for all copper tube. The price is normally very close to that of dry bright, so it's normally, you know, it's a good price. It's normally up there, you know, £3-4 plus a kilo, unless you take it in with brass still on it. Now, when we first started scrapping, we take it in like this, and we would get, you know, a reasonable amount for it, and we thought we were doing all right. And there's only at one point someone, you know, showed us to separate it into the different categories. If you take it into the EMR like this, it's brazery copper. You'll get about 2/3, probably above half, but around 2/3 and lower of the price of heavy copper tube. So you need to take all the brass off. Even something like this, the brass olives, sometimes you get copper olives, but brass olives, you have to take those off, you know, or else, you know, you're losing, you know, a bunch of money basically. So lots of bits are going to come off automatically. Some things fine, they're clean, ready to go straight in my bucket. Fold it up so it goes in easier. That's clean. I've got a load of little bits here. An old olive, copper olive. Lots of offcuts from the boiler fitting. They can all go straight in the brass bucket. These filling loop type things still got water on it, as you can see. The ends are brass, so what I normally, they normally pass for brass anyway. I normally take a hacksaw, cut through there, put that part in the brass bin, and this part, because it's partly non-ferrous and partly rubber, I put it in with the alley refines / iron alley, whatever you call it, and I've never been pulled up on it, so I continue to do it. But now we have to get all these bits off. How do you do that? Okay, the easier bits are, we've got these compression joints, really common, yeah, ball valves inside, etc. For the sake of cleaning the brass, this looks like an iron screw. Take that out, put the magnetic tray, that's off, so that's all brass now. And I've got some moldies and an adjustable on it. Spray that off. Filling loop, well, as I said, I'm going to cut the rubber bit off. That should be fine. Compression joint on here. It's not a brass screw. Mole grips. I say mole grips. These are the American kind, vice grips. In England they're called mole grips, and they're brand of mole grips, but it's only when I saw Clint Eastwood, Gran Torino, that I heard about Irwin vice grips. So when I was going to buy some mole grips, they had generic in the store, or they had Irwin vice grips, and I thought, I'm going to go for the Irwin vice grips like Clint. This will come out. Yeah, there we go. Just wind this bit of plastic out. in the plastic bucket for recycling. Okay, so that's clean brass for the brass bucket now. And now we've got to get these bits off. There are occasions when you're going to want to cut the pipe. There's not any real reason to in this other than to show you, but I keep one of these Pac-Man looking fellas around. You can buy some of these that are really expensive, but you can also buy really cheap ones. That's easy for scrapping, and I'm not worried about the integrity of the cut. I say that until I've got some plumbing to do, but I'm not really worried about how good the cut is. So I put one of these on, spin him round. Comes off, brass nut and anything else you want off of there comes straight off. So normally there's not really any real reason to do this on this one other than demonstration, but yeah. How to get the olives off, that's the next thing. It's good to understand how a compression joint works before you take them apart. The olives are placed on the pipe, and when the two things are put together, as you do this up, it clamps down and pulls in pulls the olive onto the pipe to seal it. As you can see, but yeah, the pipe really gives underneath the olive. It kind of dips in. So when we take this stuff off, what we're doing is trying to either wrench the olive off, or flatten the olive and the pipe until the olive split, especially with brass, because brass is more brittle. It will split. You stand more chance of losing it. You can sometimes get a piece of tube in the vise, have it closed in on the sides of the copper and just sat underneath the olive, and then you can just hammer it down. But then sometimes this happens. I've got this now, it's all folded over, it's not going to come off cleanly, so I'm going to have to hammer that one to split it. You leave the nut on there, put that in the vise, you can hammer down and force the hole over the top. If you've got, not at the bottom here, we've got the T-piece at the bottom, you can put something in there, put a drift in there to push down on the copper and push downwards while the brass stays on top of the vise. I've done it before where I've had a straight piece and I've had this on the end of it, and I've bent the tube to give me something to hammer down on. I can see my house from here. Okay, in the vise we've got a piece of 22mm copper. It's got a brass nut and a brass olive in it. You can see there. That's all got to come off to get the best price. You need to use something to punch down it. Not something too sharp. You don't want to go through the copper tube. So I'm going to use an old extension bar. It looks like it's been used for hammering before. Both brass pieces. And now clean, heavy copper tube ready to go to the yard. I'm actually going without a drift. Brass and not clean copper yet, but almost. Another 22 bit on this end. Starting to burr at the top, so. What did I say about not being too sharp? These things happen. Okay. Right, flatten the tube out, fold it over, give myself something new to push at, being that the extension bar went straight through the bottom of the pipe. So let's see how this goes. The olives popped. A little bit of issue with the brass nut because, there we go, it just got caught. Again, brass nut, clean tube. And I'm kind of glad that happened because it shows you what happened. You know, I can show you how to sort it out if it goes horribly wrong. That one was easy. Clean copper. Let's see, some of these are coming without too much sweat. Not as much Sammy love needed on these. Some of them are a little bit tighter. There you go. Some are a little bit tighter than others. This one is a 15mm or 22mm adapter. Oh, that's quite tight, and we haven't got the benefit of a nut to pull with this time, so. So there we go. It's not really starting to shift. So let's try, put it back in the vise, and I'm going to use an extension bar the other way around where the where the 15 to 22mm adapter goes in as a kind of hip to it. I'm hoping that I can push down that hip using the extension bar. No, I don't think this one's having it, so it's going to require some brute force and ignorance. I'll split the olive. Now it comes off. Clean brass, clean copper tube. Last one. I think this should be alright. Don't think I need a grip for this one. There we go. Clean brass, clean copper. Now, I say I've always put that in. It's gone in as clean mixed brass solids. Never had an issue with it. And let's go in the refine. Just peering through my toolbox to find this is a little bit of tube that I've used for. I've cut off to do little repairs to outside taps and stuff, and obviously I've got some new olives on there. They're loose. They've not been compressed yet with a nut. Just thought I need to show you something that I forgot to show you on the video. So when I was hammering without a drift, and I was just using this ball peen hammer, nicknamed Headwound, I thought I should mention the inside. So normally the olive's going to be somewhere like that, and then it'll be clamped down. When I start hitting it, I've got the vice holding the nut, and as I hit it, it comes down, and the olive is sliding up there. So when it gets to level or just past level, you'll see me in the video, I'm starting off using this end because it's wider than the piece of copper. So it, in theory, unless it's a really tight piece and it starts to burr, which means fold over at the top, it should slide it down, and we get to a point where that's not possible because it's wider. Then I normally turn round and use the other side, and that's normally just enough to push the olive down enough so it's enough for it to slide off. So if you watch the early part of the video again, you'll see me bang away and then spin around and use the other side. It's a technique I thought I should mention. And the refines, allegedly. Brass nuts and olives. Heavy copper tube. Cheers for watching. I found the rogue olive that went out of the bucket. No one escapes.